Hello folks, north, south, and in Japan or wherever you are. Welcome to how to put Blender animations into Smack Studio. Now Smack Studio, if you haven't been fully informed, is a platform fighter designed around creating your own character. And it has its own built-in animation tool, but what if you just want to be a little bit more flashy? What if you want to have Blender animations within your character's animations? So, that's what I'm going to be teaching you how to do. I found out a method on how to do all of that, so I figured why not show you how to do it, because there really aren't very many tutorials on Smack Studio, and it kind of bothers me. Okay, so I want to clarify something. If you thought you were going to be importing Blender models into the Smack Studio program, you are wrong. You are very wrong. This is about importing the animations. The difference being you're making your own pre-rendered animations instead of putting the entire model in. You can't import 3D models yet, but I hope to God they update the game soon. Please update the game, Smack Studio. Anyways, alright, so let's begin. So let me show you how you can do this. The first thing you're going to need is Blender. You're also going to need Smack Studio, which please support them, they need the money. Now, what you're also going to be needing is image editing program like GIMP. So, here's what we're going to need to do. First, I'm going to make a little folder called Blender Project, and this is going to be a very important folder. Within this folder, you're going to be putting all of your animations in here. Now, I'm going to be making two folders. I'm going to have idle animation and walk animation. I'm also going to do an attack animation, just for the heck of it. But I recommend doing folders for pretty much every single animation category that's in Smack Studio. So like up special, side special, down special, grab, dodge, injured, all of that. Now we're going to be opening up Blender. Now what we're also going to be doing is we're going to be putting in a model. Now I've been working with the Jason Voorhees model from Multiverses, and since I'm pretty familiar with that one, I'm going to be using that. Now I imported this one from Golden Fredbear. There's an entire Google Doc. If there's an entire Google document that I can link in the description. I'll have to modify the description because YouTube is stupid about that, because YouTube's full of doo-doo heads. But anyways, here's how we do things in Blender. Okay, so this is actually this is what I've been working with for Smack Studio. Now, it's slightly modified, but other than that, I can teach you the basics. So you'll want your model imported, and this was already here. But import your OBJ or SVG, whatever the hell you've got, whatever the hecky darn you have. And first, I want to remind you that you need to work on the -y axes, because he is facing this way. I want to view him facing the east or west or whatever, whichever desired direction. Now, you want to Shift A and add a camera, because the camera will appear whichever way you are facing. But thing is, I've already got a camera, and we can modify it in both the camera data options, which we will need to set it to orthographic, because in orthographic it looks much nicer. Perspective, it's going to be more like rounded out, but you will want to set it to orthographic because Smack Studio kind of uses a orthographic point of view. Now another thing is this world option here, because if we go over to the shader editor, we can see that this is the world color. If I try and render this with a lower world color or world light color, it's not going to look as good. So yeah. Now also, we will need to go to output. There's a few things we want to do here, like set the frame rate to 40 or 60, which is down here. 40 is a custom frame rate, but you will want to set it to that because the game uses, Smack Studio runs at a 40 FPS, or at least the timeline editor says so. I've heard that it runs at a 60 FPS, but it works alright for me. And you'll want to set it to the resolution for X and Y to 300 pixels by 300 pixels, because that's the canvas size. That's what I like to work with. Also, this little folder down here in Output, we will make that into our Blender project folder that I made for the beginning of this video. Alright, so I'm going to hit Accept. Make sure this is set to PNG, and then there's some stuff in Render that might be important. But you just want to make sure that it's EV. I'm sure there's other options like cycles that might be good, but other than that, yeah. Now, if you want, you can also add your own custom lighting with Shift-A, but what we're actually going to be doing is pressing Shift-A, going up to Mesh, and adding a cube. And with a cube, I'm just going to drag it far back here, because I don't want it to intervene with the model. And I'm going to switch Dope Sheet down here to Shader Editor. I'm going to click this Material tabs, click New. Alright, let's drag this up so you can see it a bit better. Alright, Principal BDSF, we don't need ya. We're gonna Shift-A, pardon my clickety-clackety keyboard, ugh. Anyways, we're gonna hit Shift-A, search. Actually, that's what we need, emission. So, emission, drag the emission green button thing to surface. And then we're gonna change this to a nice hot pink that contrasts with, or really whatever color you need, with the focus of your model. Let's see, there is no hot pink here, so it'll contrast perfectly, and you'll need this for spriting reasons. I'm gonna drag this back down. I'm just gonna Control C and Control V. I'm gonna copy and paste the cube, and I'm gonna drag it to the desired places I want it to be. All right. Alright, so I'm just gonna join those all together as one mesh. Makes it all the more convenient for me. But anyways, so if I press render, I don't know if it's showing up because of my filming tools, but yeah, it looks pretty nice. Alright, so now I want to save. Make sure you are always saving. This is your default state, and you can always come back to this whenever you like, and you will be coming back to this multiple times. You do not want to overwrite this save, so I highly recommend save as incremental, or save as, or save copy, whatever floats your goat, man. But yeah, that's what you're gonna need. Now, I'm only gonna do a few animations, so I'm gonna hide these other models, but I feel like the most essential ones are the machete and Jason himself, of course. You can hide. Also, if you don't want the model to appear, you can use this hide camera button. But I'm going to click the skeleton, and now I can import my animation. I will need to use, now for some people it's like FBX, which I call FBAX. Fun names make the job fun. But since I technically exported everything using Fmodel from Multiverses, I will be needing to use PSA, which is a plugin for Blender. So, alright, so this is all of these animations. Actually, I have more than that. I've got all of these folders for attack dodge. I'm only going to need the idle animation, of course. I gotta import it again for the... Alright, so yeah. Now, I'm gonna change from shader editor back to timeline. Actually, that's Dope Sheet. It's timeline that I need, because timeline's got some important stuff. But I want to click on the skeleton again. See, I've got 140 frames of this. I just realized also this is not the proper idle animation, but it's like it matters. If you want it to start later, you can press this. You can press start over here. So I can make it start at frame 30 if I want, but we're gonna set it to frame 1. Boop. Now, I want the animation. Pressing F12 makes the animation, makes a single frame appear. Pressing Control plus F12 renders our animation. And it's usually nice to click on the animation. Clicking on the skeleton tells us how many of this is done. down here we've got a progress bar for the render, but once it gets to the end of things, just end it there. Actually, I don't even need that many frames, so I'm just gonna hit stop the job, and that should end it. You can also close the little window. Now what? Wait, I've got this animation imported. How do I get rid of it? Well, Control Z. It does wonders. Since I did a lot of actions. Well, it goes back all the way to all the way to frame 3. I guess I can't do that. This is why we do saves. No, I do not want to change saves. Alright, so it's taken me back to things. Even changing a few other things. So just in case, I just want to save. But yeah. So we're just going to repeat this process a few times until we've got everything. So I'm just going to do a walk animation, I'm going to do a jump animation, and a single attack animation. So I'm going to do all those off screen, and I'll see you in a little bit. Hey, just a little friendly reminder. When you make an animation, you will have all these frames in your folder, and you can watch them appear in your folder. This was the Blender project folder that I wanted them all to export to. Real quick, you want to select one. I'm going to shift select all of these and put them in the idle folder, because when you make another animation, it will overwrite all the ones that you just made. So it's something you want to do every time you make an animation. Got it? Capiche? Good. Back to making more animations. Alright, so I am now in Smack Studio, and we're going to go into the editor now, because I've finished all 4 of those animations I wanted to do. So we go to character. We're going to create a new from blank character. Now, all we need to do is go to import here. Actually, wait, it's not even on import, it's on sprites. We just need one sprite. Let's see. We go to Blender Projects, and we're going to use idle, the first frame of the idle. Alright? So here is our sprite. It is overwhelmingly tall, and we don't need it all the way that up, and we're gonna bring it down there. Real quick, let's just see what it... Okay, that's pretty nice, actually. I mean, it's big, but you can always adjust the size. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Now, here's what we do. We go up to here. I'm gonna copy this frame, and I'm gonna keep pasting it all the way down here, all the way down to 64. Now I know what you're thinking, why specifically 64? It's because, well, when you go to export, generate preview, I wish I could make this bigger, you can only have up to 64 frames. There is ways you can adjust that, but why tamper with what's already fine? So yeah, I've got it set to current and all layers. So yeah, so we're going to export this to our Blender project. We're going to call it template. Alright, so now we have to move down to GIMP. We can safely close down Smack Studio, but beforehand, since we're already working on a new character, we're just going to call this test character. Alright. Save that, and we can come back to it later. Hey. Guess where I am? I'm in GIMP. Okay, I gotta stop being autistic. So, GIMP. This is the image editing program we are going to be using. You can use anything, but I find it easier to use GIMP. So we're gonna go to Blender Project, and we're gonna open up Template. Alright, so there's all those frames. So, here's what we do first. We go and change our color to a nice neon green. I'm gonna select the Select by Color tool. I'm gonna click this nice hot pink. I'm gonna delete it. Delete all of it. Every single ounce of it. I'm gonna zoom out a bit so you can see this. I'm gonna create a new layer. gonna... Hey, there we go. So all this is now green. I'm just gonna merge the two layers, and I'm going to save as, because I want to template.xcf. So save that. So this is a template we can now come back to whenever we like. Actually, I'm going to double save so I won't have to unselect everything. So why are we doing this now? Well, here's the fun part. We get to import every single one of those frames. And you have to do it 64 animations at a time. So here's how we do it. We drag and drop them from our folder into GIMP, and as you can see, it's making all of these different... It's importing all of them. Alright, so yeah. Now, here's the thing. How it works with these custom sprite sheets that Smack Studio generates, it goes from here, this is number 1, all the way from left to right, down here. This is, I believe, what, frame 16? Yeah, it's by 8s, so it's 8 by 8, so number 1, alright, and continues from left to right, and it goes all the way, so this is the last frame, 64. Now, the easiest way to tell which frame is in this clutter of frames, as you can see, the one I just grabbed is frame 16, interestingly enough. Frame 15, okay. It's been oddly imported, but we just need to find frame 1. You can also hide all these with this eyeball button, and that's going to make things easier. And actually, we don't even need that. I just need to make an example. We don't really need all those frames, because it's not like we're... So I'm actually going to just delete all of these, except for frame 1, just to show you an example. And use this little X button to delete all of these extra frames. You do not want to delete this one. So yeah, you can hide that. But see, the reason why I made those cubes in Blender is so you can match them up with the ones behind it. And if they were the same color, it'd be even harder. So it's nice to have these contrasting colors. So yeah, once you do that, you can actually delete this layer now. You can undo that with Control-Z. And we go over to File, we export as, we're going to call this idle animation. Export. And then it's back to Smack Studio, but I'm going to do the walk animation just for Schmitz and Schmiggles. Because I also just realized I did something wrong. When you have all of your frames lined up, select by color, and you want to... I'm on the wrong layer. Alright, I'm on the right layer now. Delete all that color. There we go. And now I can export to idle animation. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to delete that frame again. And now I just have to repeat the process with my walk animation, which has approximately 48 frames, so that's actually less. But we're still gonna try and arrange all of them. Just gotta wait for it to take its time. Now, sometimes what I like to... Oh my gosh. Oh, it's because I moved my camera. Alright, so, that's just a little oopsie-doopsie. But what you can do is, something that I like to do is I like to number all of these frames, like in this open spot. Like I can go into text. It's probably too big. I'll just set this to 5, and I'll name this... Actually, I should probably do this on the first frame, just so you don't get confused, because I've already got a template like this for my JSON model. 1. That's pretty small, actually. Let's bump that up to a 20. No, not 21. There, 1, and then you can go over and do 2, and then you can
go over and go through. Oh, that's 2 again. 3. You see what I'm getting at. So it's nice to number some of these, but I'm not going to be doing that. That's just a little word of advice. Now to arrange all these frames. Yippee! Oh joy! Oh happy day! Usually, I just do a sloppy job on the first time, and then I go over it a second time, make sure there's no green showing. This is taking so long, this is taking so long, this is really taking so long. Ba -ba -da -ba -da -ba. It's like playing solitaire. Skibidi-bop-bop-ba-ba-doo-da, you go a little crazy doing this. You know, sometimes you actually get lucky on some of these. When you just fling them over to a certain spot, you actually align them so perfectly, it kind of impresses yourself. Oh crap, that was a misinput. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. A rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. I'm autistic, can't you tell? Listen to me. I'm a philosopher. Dr. Freeman. I know this isn't the most appropriate place for a heart-to-heart. Wake up and smell the ashes, Dr. Freeman. Go to White Forest, Dr. Freeman. Alright, so that took me only about 11 minutes. You probably got to see the sped up version and me being a fucking lunatic. So yeah, just always double check if you don't think everything is correct, but sometimes certain frames don't get in the right places, sometimes there's a little bit of green showing, but when you think it's ready, go to this very top frame and use the merge down tool. Keep doing that. And alright, there we go. Select that pink, delete, and select none. There we have it. Now just repeat this process about 2 million times. I've been through hell and back. Alright, export as fuck animation. Alright, so since that was long and time consuming, I'm just not going to do the rest of the frames I made. All those extra animations. But yeah, if you were doing this for a fully fledged character, which I plan on doing more 3D model characters, you're going to have to do this a lot. Quite a lot. Now that we've done all the sprites that we need, all the sprite sheets that we've made from GIMP, we go back into Smack Studio. Alright, load an existing character. What did we call him? Test character? Yep, there we go. Alright, so since this was on the idle animation, we can actually sometimes it's useful, just in case you accidentally delete your template, to copy all these frames, go to something like taunt, which is what you're going to probably work on as the last thing, and paste everything, just in case you need to make another template, you know, So yeah, so now let's go and delete the sprites spot and import, and we're gonna add idle animation, and we're gonna add walk animation, which is right here. Check this out. We can hit play. Look at that. It's beautiful, ain't it? And you did this! You did this! Isn't it great? But it looks even better when you actually play. Did I not select the walk animation? Yeah, I did. That's weird. Maybe I should play with a controller. There we go. It's a little chunky, but it works. If we want to make it a little bit more smooth, let's just add actions. Empty keyframe. Oh, wrong thing. New action. Go to play frame 1 on walk. Abracadingle. Still something's not right, but oh wait, it's because I have all those empty frames. Yeah, sometimes when you export or import, when you import an animation, it adds in these blank spaces. You don't even need this, really. Alright, Abracadingle, you are a Pringle. So yeah, that's how you make Blender animations and put them in Smack Studio. I don't think I'll ever do a lot of tutorials like this for Smack Studio. Maybe I might, maybe I won't. But this is the process, or at least this is my process. So yeah, so thanks for watching. Grab some snacks on your way out, and check out my channel if you're interested in some more tutorials or gameplay videos, because I plan on doing that. Enjoy yourself. Have a good one.